y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Vicky, a licensed therapist, and today we're gonna talk about self-care because if you don't care about yourself, nobody else will. So what is self-care? Obviously, self-care is doing things that are gonna help you be healthier and happier and basically taking care of yourself. It is like giving yourself what you need to feel good and to be well. But a lot of people confuse self-care with self-indulgence. Indulgence is kind of like a momentary thing, something special that you're doing that will give you a temporary sense of enjoyment or pleasure. Self-care is more of a long-term thing that you're going to do over a period of time to where you can have long-term benefits that are going to help you be happier and healthier. So is it anything wrong with self-indulgence? No, I don't think it is. I think indulging in things that bring you joy and pleasure are great. I mean, we need that. And so that would be like, taking a nice vacation or having like your favorite dessert or something like that. But too much of that is going to be problematic, and it's not going to give you the long-term benefits that a regular kind of self-care routine will do for you. So the benefits of a stable self-care routine is that it's going to improve your overall mental health and your mental well-being. It will also improve your physical health, social life. I mean, like, the list can go on and on. Self-care is important. When you neglect yourself, it's kind of like you are taking water out of the well, but no water is going back in. And eventually, if you keep doing that, the well is going to run dry, and then you won't have anything left to give. And so it's important that you are refilling the well if you're going to be giving. We give every day, whether it's on our jobs, with our families, or just existing causes us to have to expend energy physically, mentally, spiritually. And so being able to refill the well is important, and that's how you get longevity. So you can think about self-care in 4 basic aspects. One is physical, we got mental, psychological, and social. So if we're going to look at the physical self-care, so that's going to include things that have to do with your physical health and your body. Some examples might be doing regular exercise or physical activities, getting enough sleep, not just the right amount, but good quality of sleep and rest, working on your nutrition and making sure you're eating in a healthy way, regular medical checkups, following medical advice, or at least working with your medical team to make sure that you understand what physical issues you're having and what your options are so you can make the best choice for yourself. Also throw in hygiene, because you need to take care of yourself, your physical appearance, and just your personal care. A lot of us, especially if you have issues like mental health issues like depression, sometimes schizophrenia, hygiene is usually the first thing that goes out the door. So a person's hygiene and grooming can really be an indicator as to their mental well-being. So take care of your physical health and appearance as part of your self-care routine. Emotional self-care is engaging in activities that are going to help you to understand, express, and process your emotional stability. Some examples of that would be identifying your feelings and being able to express those feelings to other people, doing activities that make you feel happy and relaxed, practicing stress reduction like deep breathing and meditation exercises, also seeking therapy and counseling and actually using it, not just like showing up, but actually talking through your issues and processing through that and coming up with solutions and all of that, like actively being engaged in therapy. And then also allowing yourself to grieve and go through that process if you're having some difficult things happen in your life. We oftentimes think of grief when we lose someone through death, but we grieve lots of things. We grieve the loss of anything that's important to us. It could be that you lost your job or there was a breakup, and you're still going to be going through the process of grief. That emotion is there for a reason, and you need time to let it do what it does. And so allowing time and space for grief and other unpleasant emotions is a part of your emotional self-care. Psychological self-care is anything that you're doing on a regular basis to maintain or improve your mental health and your cognitive functioning. So those kinds of things would be things like hobbies or enjoyable activities, things that are challenging mentally, like reading, doing puzzles, or learning a new skill. Also, practicing mindfulness and meditation could fall under psychological self-care. Having personal goals and working towards accomplishing those goals will give you a sense of achievement, which is good for psychological self-care. Also, seeking educational and self-improvement opportunities. There's lots of information out there that can help us be a better version of ourselves. And so seeking those things out and educating ourselves about different things can help us psychologically function better and cognitively function better. Also, reflecting on your thoughts and feelings, being able to journal or get those thoughts and feelings out in a healthy way will help us psychologically as well. The fourth area is social self-care. And so this is going to be anything that you're doing to foster healthy, supportive relationships. A lot of times we get kind of stuck in these unhealthy relationships that aren't really working for us, or maybe we kind of feel stuck in a bad situation. Or maybe we have people around us who are supportive, but we're not utilizing those relationships in a healthy way. Social self-care is being more intentional about how you deal with the people in your life and how you function within those relationships. So that might be spending quality time with family and friends, participating in groups or community events that you enjoy, that you can be involved with other people, networking or making new social connections, making new friends, getting out of your comfort zone and doing some things that maybe you wouldn't have done before, but gives you the opportunity to meet new people that you haven't met before and to experience new things. Engaging in social hobbies or sports is also good for social connections, and then asking for or offering support when needed. Make sure that's kind of a reciprocal thing. You don't want to be the one that's always begging for something, always needing attention. You want to also be able to support others as well, and that creates that sense of community. So with these 4 different areas, I think it's important to think about which areas are lacking for you. Usually we have things that are already working in our favor, some areas that are stronger than others. And so you may want to think about which areas would have the most impact in your actual life and will help you function better and get to where you want to be. Sometimes people kind of avoid engaging in self-care for a lot of different reasons. For some reason, people sometimes think it's a bad thing. They think it's selfish, it's not accessible to them. Maybe they think it's too time consuming, or it's too expensive, or it's too hard. I think you can't afford not to do it. And it doesn't actually have to cost anything. Self-care is simple if you don't complicate it. So here's how you get it done, okay? You need a self-care routine. But you don't want to try to change your whole life all at once. You got to figure out where you are now and then build off of that. Think about it. If I try to change too much too fast, it's going to be too difficult, and I'm probably going to give up because I'm not going to feel like I'm doing a good job. And when we don't feel like we're doing a good job, our natural tendency is to okay, let me stop this and do something else. Let me get back to what I'm used to doing. So when you're talking about, we're going to add some new things in, we're going to change the self-care routine from what it was to what we want it to be, we got to kind of take baby steps sometimes. And so I would recommend that you pick just 1 or 2 things to start off with and try to incorporate those things into the daily routine that you already have. And then as you get used to those things, then you can add more things gradually as you go. If you're not used to practicing self-care, it's probably not going to be the easiest thing to just jump into starting out. And that's okay. Change can be hard. It's going to be worth it in the long run. If you run into some difficulties or if it feels uncomfortable in the beginning, that's okay. That's to be expected. But you have to just keep at it. You might feel like you don't have time. might have some unpleasant feelings that come up. Like sometimes we feel guilty because, oh, I'm focusing on me right now instead of my kids or something like that. But that's okay. You have those thoughts and those feelings, and you just acknowledge those. Just, move on and continue with your self-care routine. Like I said, it's a gradual process, and so you want to kind of add things bit by bit so that it doesn't become overwhelming. So, long story short, self-care is important. I don't think you can really be successful if you're not taking time to take care of yourself. And you can't wait until it's a good time, because something is always going to come up. There's always going to be some excuse not to. So you really have to make time to practice self-care, and it cannot be negotiable. Like, you have to make it mandatory for yourself. Because again, you can't give if you don't have anything to give. So you have to refill the well on a continual basis. And that will help you move more towards a sense of mental well-being and healthiness. I want to hear from you. I want to know, what are some of your self-care routines? What are some difficulties that you've had with self-care in the past, or barriers that you've had to overcome? Give us some tips and tricks. We all learn from each other here. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss an episode. And as always, fear nothing, assume nothing, take nothing for granted. All right, y'all. Go be great.